Ladies and gentlemen, I am the next gem of great British wrestling ring announcing, Adam Blackburn, and you are listening to the new Great British podcast, Submit Wrestling Cards, with your hosts, Jack and Kev.
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Submit Wrestling Cards podcast with myself, Jack, and this time to this way, if I can get that in, my co-host. Introduce yourself.
Totally the other way around. Kevin Williams, everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Jack. Amazing as ever as it is. Can we believe it? Another episode. You finally got round to doing one.
I know it's been a little while. We've had all sorts of videos to sort out, all sorts of conventions to go to, and calendars to sort out. It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
The Munich card collection, and that popped up in the middle of everything, and that was quite unbelievable.
Yeah,
some awesome cards there.
Yeah, if you've not seen that on the page, have a look on the YouTube page. It's the Munich card collection. It was a recent discovery of hand-signed raw cards from 1994. Who we had? Owen Hart on there, British Bulldog,
Undertaker, Paul Bearer.
Yeah, Bam Bam was in there.
Yeah, Bam Bam, Bob Holly, randomly.
Yeah, Tatanka was in
Quite
there. Who was that other big guy that signed it? Just the one card, just made us laugh. Oh, I can't.
Wasn't Bret Hart, was it?
No, some real.
He had a few on it.
Signed it, but there was about 40 cards in total that have been signed, all in one evening from one collector from one event in Germany. So if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. It's in our playlists. We've got an episode to do today, Kev. So tell them about the episode today. Who won the poll? Who won?
Oh God, here we go. Listen to him already. Because he's won. It was Mr. Perfect. So we had the option of Undertaker or Mr. Perfect, and bizarrely, Mr. Perfect won. So
yes, I mean, so it's a bit of an odd one. So I selected Mr. Perfect for my choice, and you selected Undertaker. Now I collect Undertaker, so I could have gone for. Well, both of us could have gone for about 4 hours on different Undertaker cards. So I think it was actually probably the best bet to go for Mr. Perfect. And I think some people had made a few comments, which are actually rightly so, that, you know, Curt doesn't get the kind of respect and the coverage that he deserves, really. So
100%.
That's a good thing. We're going to cover Curt.
It's like once in a lifetime sort of wrestler, isn't it? Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig. It's like these sort of people don't come around every day. It's like Mr. Perfect, pure one-off wrestling. Well, what he could do in a ring, how he could make a match look was fantastic. Then the persona of the guy as well that went with it outside of the ring. So there's everything to talk about in this episode, I think, when it comes to Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig. So,
So we've got History with Kev, where Kev will give us a great idea of the history and the life of Curt. So that's going to be interesting. We've got a little bit of news to go through, and then we'll go through some Mr. Perfect cards as well. Some from our own collection, some from stuff that we want and we like. So we'll do a bit of coverage. So I think we're going to go into the news first. So
news.
I think we've
any news, Jack? Is much coming out of the wrestling card world? PSA had taken a while with a few submissions. That's my news. I wish they'd pull a finger out and hurry the hell up.
Yeah, they seem to get back into their habits of overcommitting and under-delivering again. So, I'd sent some cards off in January. I think they didn't come back until last week. We're now at the end of May. We've had stuff sent before, I think in December. We sent some stuff off, and we're still waiting for some of the stuff from submission as well.
I get that. I mean, if they're doing it properly, then fair enough. But I can't wait any longer. Come on, I'm like a kid waiting for Christmas here. Come on, some PSA 10s. Cheers up.
Yeah, Yeah, it's again, it's a little bit frustrating that we're falling back into that kind of cycle of waiting again. Now, of course, there are other grading companies out there. You could use Beckett if you wanted to, and there's companies within the UK. And another thing, we've not really done an episode on graders yet, have we? Something we were going to do.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, yeah, there's
It's
a choose from.
strange because like forum chats and if anything, get
Yeah,
a grip. Come on.
I know.
Doesn't matter if it's with MGC. If you like it, as long then we're all okay with that, aren't we?
Absolutely.
So, what is there any?
Kev, where have you gone? You've cut out. You've gone somewhere. Kev, come back to us. Come towards the light.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
There you go. Right, there you
I've gone for a I've gone for a cup of tea. Yeah, I was saying, what news have you got anyway? Is there any?
So yes, we've already spoke about the Munich card collection, so we've had a bit of a chat about that. So go watch the video. There are some that we're still waiting to come back from Beckett. Now these aren't our cards, by the way. We've been in touch with the person who actually owns the cards. So there's still a few waiting to come back. A few of them have gone up for sale with Goldin. So a few of those sales have completed. You can have a look on the past sales on Goldin for some of the prices to some of the signed cards already that have been completed. What else have we got? What other news was there? I'm sure there was something else I was going to talk about, and I can't quite remember what it is.
WWE Prism 2023.
Oh yes,
that's now a thing in America, isn't it? I think.
Yes, yeah. So I have seen some bits and people talking about it. I don't think I've seen. Oh no, I saw some base cards the other day. I mean, it's very much the same as to what we've already been used to with the 2022 Prism, but you know, hey,
yeah,
it's as whatever.
So you're gonna pick up some bangers, aren't you? You're gonna get lucky.
You
know, that's how you got to look at it. Another little piece of news for me is Cambridge Trading Cards on YouTube. They have some amazing videos, some packet openings. So check out their latest Tops Chrome video. That is well worth a look.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've spoken to him before about having him as a guest on the show, and I think with our erratic schedules and us being able to struggle to get shows together, we'll figure out getting some guests on the show, and we can have a bit of a chat. But yeah, it's just a clash of the calendars all the time with us, unfortunately.
Of course, amazing.
I can't think of any other news really. I'm trying to rack my brains. I can't think what's going on with Oh, you can talk about For the Love of Wrestling. That was something you went to.
Oh, that was a nice show. Nice event. It's quite well run, to be fair. It's always queues likely, but when you're meeting your superstars. So who did we meet? Well, I got a couple of DDP cards signed. He's a nice fella, you know. And his wife was talking to everyone in the queue. And you just had that bit of an interaction. You think, oh, fair play. Yeah, Big Show was in. Got a N64 game, Booker T, Jungle Boy, Demolition, Paul Roma. I mean, I've never seen Paul Roma in like the UK before, never mind at a convention. Powers of Pain, Diesel, Dudley Boys. There's a wide range of wrestlers on show. Britt Baker, some AEW lot. Then they are doing For the Love of Wrestling #4. So get saving. But now we need a big name, don't we? Stone Cold Steve Austin. We'll take that, but it's not happening, is it? Oh, we could dream.
They were asking for some suggestions for people for the 4th installment, and I think the majority of people have said Undertaker. But that's going to be crazy. I mean, if they get really one of the big 4, if you get Hogan, Taker, HBK,
Gangrel.
Yeah.
Ric Flair, even. I'd love a Ric Flair meet and greet again.
Yeah, Ric Flair would be big. But yeah, it's gonna, Stone Cold, that was the other one, unless I already said it. Those kind of big names, they're gonna sell out super, super, super quick. So yeah, get saving now. But what's Taker charging now? $400 for a sign-in if he
Jesus Christ.
And if it's a
Wow.
Hasbro, it's $600. So if it's a,
Is that what you're saying now? Oh my
that was
God.
the last thing I read on Fitterman, because Flair
Yeah.
was saying his Hasbros were 500 and his autos were 400, still refusing to sign any rookies. They won't sign a rookie.
Really? Wow.
That's
God.
what they believe is their rookie cards.
Wonder what is their real rookie cards.
Bad knowledge. We'll come back to that another date in time. So I suppose we'll jump straight into the part of the show that everyone wants to see. So let's go with Kev and your history lesson. Over to you for Mr. Pat.
Curt Hennig, so born in 1958, would make him 65 today. Sadly, no longer with us. He would debut in 1980, age 21. He was trained by his father, Larry Hennig, and Vern Gagne, of all people. Then from 82, 83, that era, it'd be wrestling with PNW, Pacific Northwest Wrestling, I think it is. Then he'd go to the AWA, where he'd become the world champion in 1987 when he beat Nick Bockwinkel. Moved to WWF in 1988, and he became a two-time Intercontinental Champion. He would feud with Hulk Hogan and many great wrestlers. Sadly, come 91, he was suffering with back injury and he'd take up the role as a color commentator and executive consultant to Ric Flair. Then, come 92, WWF was struggling, so they kind of got him out of early retirement due to the injuries. We have a feud there with Razor Ramon, Ric Flair. Then one of the greatest matches for me of Mr. Perfect, other than SummerSlam 91, is the loser leaves town match with Ric Flair, which was on Monday Night Raw. Then 94 again, he'd take a year out with more injuries, color commentator, making sporadic appearances with the WWF. Then in mid 97, was it? He'd go to WCW. He'd have some good feuds there with Bret Hart, DDP, join the NWO and the Four Horsemen. And you know how much of a shit show WCW was. So everything was a mix around. And he'd feud with NWO and the Four Horsemen before he'd set up the Texas Rednecks with Barry Windham singing the good old song Rap is Crap. Then he had a last run in WWE in 2002, and he made that great Royal Rumble entrance. Then he'd hit TNA shortly after, late 2002, 2003, and he'd die very early. I think it's the 10th of March 2003. What is a respected drug overdose, and sadly, we'd lose Mr. Perfect forever. But he is always remembered for being one of the greatest wrestlers to ever grace a ring, and he's well remembered and respected by all of us. And there we have it. History with Kev.
Awful lot to unpack there, and I think some of it's probably going to be worth us unpacking probably as we go through some of the cards, actually, because I think the cards that we've picked kind of cover quite a lot of his history and his sort of lifespan
Career.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say,
we were talking about For the Love of Wrestling, and like Mr. Perfect, I'd love to have met Mr. Perfect. So if anyone got to meet him, give us a shout out. We are not jealous, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit on a really important word there, is respect. And I think that he's one of those wrestlers where I've never heard any fan or wrestler have anything bad to say. And
yeah,
some people that might be a bit aggrieved by whatever, but for the most part, he there was never any bad press, there was never any bad reputation, there was never any sour taste left in anyone's mouths. And really, there's only a handful of performers and wrestlers that have that accolade. People like Taker, for example, and Owen, and people that have got that much respect that no one is going to talk ill of them because they were that well loved. And Kurt's one of them.
By a mile. Yeah. I mean, you watch interviews now of even wrestlers who are wrestling today. What inspired you to become a wrestler? Oh, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Speak of Razor Ramon, how come you got to the levels you were? Oh, Curt Hennig taught me. I grew up wrestling with him in the 80s. It's like, wow, he wasn't just a great wrestler, he was a great teacher of wrestling. knew how to work a crowd and with minimal effect, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the mid. Let's look at the sort of, not the mid card guy, but the medium build guy. You know, it was a shame that
Yeah.
he was mostly mid card, and we all know that. But the
Yeah.
medium build guy, there's always a lot of emphasis put on Sean and Brett pushing that medium build, you know, into the forefront and away from those massive powerhouse guys. You know,
Yeah.
taking the limelight away from them. They will always credit Curt for being their inspiration for pushing that medium build guy forward. So if you're trying to take away, you know, the emphasis that Mr. Perfect had on that medium build, he was the one that kind of started it to make it show.
Yeah. Broke the mold. Yeah. It's like in the world of wrestling entertainment, he broke the mold and made it acceptable.
Absolutely.
I think that's what you're trying to say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
I said it in what, about 200 words? You said it in about 4. There we go.
God, we're not doing the extra long podcast. There's a beer garden somewhere.
Yeah, I'm on a no beer diet at the moment. I've got June the 15th, so I'm going to try and quit beer for 30 days. Not that I'm like an alcoholic or anything, but I just wanted to see if I could actually stop drinking beer for 30 days. So far, so good.
Yeah.
I'm like 10 days in.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll see how that
Brilliant.
goes.
Stick at it, and I think more people should take note of that, Jack, because there's no shame in having a break from drinking. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I'm by no means do I like drinking to excess, but I think for me, what I was realizing was that I was drinking because I was bored at home, and I was like, well, you know, every other night I'd have a couple of cans of beer, and I was like, oh, I'm getting bored of this. I'm getting bored of being bored and drinking.
Bored, yeah.
Just
There's only so many wrestling cards you can collect, isn't it? So
it is, but then you need duplicates, so then you need better condition ones of the way.
oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. So let's have a look through some of
the grades, everything else.
Let's go through the cards. Let's see what we've got, and let's dive in. And they're in no particular order, by the way, people. I've just thrown them into a file, and we're just going to skip through them and go from there. Right. So some of the cards. So first one, this is what we've got. Kev, this is one of your picks. Talk us through it.
Well, I've just gone with a modern card, to be fair, and after searching eBay, this one has come up, and it is number 6 of 50. And what I like about it, it's got that classic Mr. Perfect pose and the yellow attire. So I imagine some collector out there has one of these in their collection, and it's just a card I absolutely love, and maybe I might pick one up one day. So
is it?
Sure.
I'm assuming it's only numbered because of the color of the parallel. It's like a silver parallel.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a modern how they go about it, silver 1 of 50 sort of thing. It's not nothing out of the ordinary, should we say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great pose. It's a great picture. I mean, the one thing you're never going to avoid. Just to describe this for the people that may be listening to this and not watching this, it's just Mr. Perfect, as Kev says, in a yellow attire. He's got his hands on his hips. He's probably looking towards the walkway as someone coming in. So one thing that I think some of the pictures of Mr. Perfect you're never going to get away from is the cup in the groin area. Always puts me off because it always seems slightly more excessive than it needs to be. But to be honest, if you're going to have a leotard on show to the world, you know, make it as big as you can. But
plenty of socks ran down there. That's what you're trying to say, Jack.
It always makes me laugh. But no, it's a great card, and yeah, a lot of the modern cards are numbered with coloured parallels. So yeah, great card, good card to start with, and I think it's a classic pose and a classic picture from him as well.
Yeah. I don't think you could do much with Mr. Perfect because the guy was absolutely perfect.
Oh,
it's like,
there we go. I wonder when we was going to drop one of them in.
Yeah. Oh, second one. This just fetches back so many great memories from picking up your favourite set, the classic 91 blue border set. And it's a Mr. Perfect with the blue ring attire with the side pose. And it just says to me, reminds me of his great matches he had with Bret Hart, SummerSlam 91.
Yeah, so if we have a quick sort of dissection of some of the attire that Mr. Perfect had, so the actual shape of the kind of leotard, if you want to call it that, was always very, very similar. But the colours that he had, as far as I was aware, was yellow, blue, green, orange, and was there a red one?
Yeah, red and black. I think there's
And
a black as well,
yes,
isn't it?
of
Yeah.
course, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
only a few different colors, but from the Hasbro's, we only saw the blue and the yellow, didn't we? The blue.
Yellow. Yeah.
What was the color on the back of the Series 8? What was the color on the back of him? It was a
Oh, was
two-tone.
it yellow? Yellow at the back?
Could be,
I'm sure it's yellow at the back. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
really,
Like the
I mean,
diving triangle sort of thing.
yes, yeah. I mean, but really, it's yellow is the most common and what he's most well known for. Really, I would say the yellow leotard is, in my mind, anyway,
Yeah.
I associate with him the most.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is a blue border classic 91, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Great pose, great picture. I like the way that the actual picture, the framing of Mr. Perfect, his arm is coming over the blue border for the card itself. I think that's makes the picture pop out a bit more.
Yeah.
Very typical of the 90s, bold, blocky colors. We all love that kind of stuff in the 90s. But it's a famous card, and it's probably the most common card people would have had of Mr. Perfect, because this set being
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn easy to pick up, and it still is, isn't it? And
50p,
again, that is the beauty of collecting, isn't it? You don't have to go and spend millions of pounds on a card.
No, absolutely. I don't know how much was that numbered one we've just seen. Do you know how much that would be? I don't know what the price of that
About $20. There's one on eBay for about $20, which
nice.
you're not breaking the bank for that, are you?
What's the cost of the Hasbro now? So the first one's probably MOC, probably
A couple £100.
200, yeah. And then the Series 8
Something like that.
about the same as well. So
Yeah. There you have it. Oh, this one. Yeah, well, this is a WCW, is it Panini 98, where they had the signed cards inside, and there's a whole range of these cards, isn't there? Me, have Hulk Hogan, Sting, Bobby Heenan, whoever. And this one's got the Curt Hennig autograph.
Yeah, I've seen and I've spoken to a couple of collectors in the past that have tried to complete this set, and there's some interesting stories about the autographs from this set. Some of them some of the wrestlers only autographed a very low number of cards, and there was all kinds of crazy rumors about some that were autographed and some that weren't. Ignoring that side of it, I think for me, this particular card is very late in his career.
Great,
well,
yeah.
Very late, because he had a few more years as he went over to TNA, but this is probably, I would say, very much his decline had started with popularity, and it's really starting to kind of peter off now. But I think really this is such a clear autograph. It's so well presented. It's very basic. It's very simple. There's no getting around. You're never going to get confused with who it is. It's just very good.
Yeah, I'd love to add that one to my collection. I mean, you're going from $700 to $1,200, but having a signed Mr. Perfect card, and it's here. It's Curt Hennig, not Mr. Perfect.
Yes,
it's for any wrestling fan, isn't it? You don't have to be a card collector. You could just be a good old school wrestling collector, and to me, that's the authenticity of the card. It's like, it doesn't get better than that, does it?
Exactly. Yeah, you've. I suppose again, we know that he wasn't a prolific signer of things, so that's what makes a lot of the demand for things that he has signed quite high, because he didn't really do a lot of signings, not in comparison to some of the wrestlers we have today. Would that be different if he was still alive? Maybe. Let's not get into that.
Possibly.
But, for the time that he was alive, he didn't do many signings, so it's difficult to
Very
find
true.
signed. And this particular card itself, I don't know how many they signed of each of these, but this has got to be the most common of his autographs. Not denoting how good this is, but this must be one of his most common autographed cards, because he wouldn't have really signed much else.
No, you have a Macho Man from this set as well, which I quite adore.
Oh, the Madness. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big one.
All of that set is just wow. It's huge, isn't it?
Mm.
And I forget the guy. There's a guy on Twitter that had every single one, and I was like, mate, that is some balls to do that.
Yeah.
And for someone to do it is amazing, and I appreciate all that. You know.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, there was either one or two guys in Australia that wanted to go through and try and collect every single one. And yeah, I know I've seen a couple. I've seen pictures of the whole set. Yeah, tough. That's a real tough set to get.
Very, yeah.
Tough.
Oh, we could dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I'll let you talk
That
about
was
this one because we've already covered this. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so it's the legendary match, Ric Flair versus Mr. Perfect, loser leaves town match. So what I love about this pose is where he pops like down to a singlet, in his ring attire. And that was a case of like, I'm here to do business now.
Mm.
Like goes to the next level. And the match itself, it's way up there with one of his best matches for me. I mean, Ric Flair, such a great performer as well. Then you have this. The only thing it's lacking is the autograph. If I could be picky,
Yeah. And you can also see from the background, what was this? This was the
Manhattan Center
I was
in
gonna
New
say,
York, that one.
say Madison Square, but I absolutely know it's not. I couldn't remember
Yeah,
the venue name.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the Monday nights Raws were put in there, and I think for me the most famous match was the 1-2-3 Kid and Razor. But
Oh,
yeah, this
30 years ago, that was
I
17th
saw that.
of
Yeah,
May 1993.
yeah, I saw that pop
God.
the other day. I thought, wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, great match. Two legends, two icons. Really, you couldn't, you can't take
Was.
anything away from that match. Really, it's absolutely. I think a lot of people would say that Brett versus Perfect is probably going to be one of their favorite matches because really, to them,
Yeah.
a lot of people will say it was the handing over of the torch. Well, this match probably similar, really. Flair handing the torch to Perfect. I mean, Flair probably handed the torch to probably everybody, really. But uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
great match, great picture, great card. Yeah, really good stuff.
Cool in-ring shot as well.
Yeah,
Live in the action, isn't it?
yeah.
You know.
Oh
Oh,
gosh,
this one.
right, big stuff now. Big stuff coming in. Go on then, Kev.
For me, it's probably the best card of Mr. Perfect because wrestling fans, do you know who's doing that camel clutch on?
Oh,
It's,
let's
Owen Hart. Oh, I spoiled it.
say Iron Sheik there doing the camel clutch or
Oh
receiving
yeah,
camel clutch. Yes, it is. Yes.
Blue Blazer, wasn't it? So this, I think, is from 1989, 90, is it? Something like that.
Yeah, be around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one's authenticated by CAS. So and you notice on this one, it's a Mr. Perfect autograph, not Curt Hennig. So
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean the one thing that if we look back, so if we obviously we can see here on the if I zoom in a little bit, let me see if I can. Oh, I've done something there. I don't want to do that. Right, you see this little flick on the autograph here that my mouse is showing?
yeah.
See that? If I now go back to this one, he's got a little flick there as
Oh,
well. So something
wow.
that I think he wanted to incorporate between the two autographs was just that little pen flick at the end, which is a nice touch.
Yeah.
And we can see, yeah, Kurt in the green attire there, which is again a color that we mentioned. But yeah, great
Oh,
card,
true, yeah.
two legends, and again, two well-respected legends, people that wouldn't really say anything bad about. And it's signed, which is so rare. If we were to put a value on this, where are you throwing the value?
This one was on eBay at $700, but for me, I'd be getting it graded up, Beckett, PSA, and you could have another $300-400 to that for me. But
Yeah.
you got to remember also this is Owen Hart's rookie card,
Yes.
so you got that magic, and then you got the magic that is signed by Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, very much a one-off card. I very much doubt there's another one of these that exists
Yeah,
anywhere.
there's
This is the only one.
yeah. I was going to say there's not too many Mr. Perfect autographs.
Mm.
You get quite a few Curt Hennig autographs, but not as many Mr. Perfect autographs. So
I think
maybe
would he have
go
only
on.
been able to have signed Mr. Perfect up until he'd left the WF, and then after that, was he then contract bound to not sign as Mr. Perfect? We think. Surely that's the case.
Possibly, or if in '98 a WCW fans come up to you with Curt Hennig stuff, you're gonna put Curt Hennig on it rather than Mr. Perfect.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
interesting.
right. It's card. This is one of the ones that I've picked, and it's kind of newish. It's kind of modern again. We've looked at modern already. So this is a heritage, a Topps heritage card from 2015. I think for me, it's a great picture. He's in the orange leotard. He's got the IC belt round him. He's got his infamous towel in his hand as well. It's a great in-ring shot. He's clearly just walked into the ring. He's scowling, which was a great, part of his character, that he was very snobbish and above everybody else. So he's kind of looking down his nose at the cameraman who's taking the photo as well. Great shot, great picture, great identification of the character as well. So I think for me, it's all round. It's very, very good. They've chosen as well to include both Mr. Perfect and Curt Hennig on the card as the title is the name, which I think is very good. You don't often see him do that. And they've tried to color match the title to the leotard. So tried to make them both orange, which I think is a good shout. So for me, great card. I think it works really well. And yeah, great shot.
Also, he looks well in shape there, doesn't he? That's like the prime of his career. That photograph, what would it be, 1990?
Yeah, 1991 Topps. Couldn't be more than that, I don't think.
Just looks in awesome shape, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Fair play to the guy.
Absolutely.
Oh, mate. This is a banger.
Yeah, so I pulled it. So a little bit of a backstory. So I said to Kev before we done this shoot today, I think a couple of days ago, what did I say? We're going to have to just compare our cards that we're selecting first, primarily because I think we will overlap. And we shared the cards that we were selecting. And did we overlap, Kev?
No, not a single one. Bizarrely.
Neither of us picked any of the same cards, which I think is a first, because normally we tend to. So right, I'll give the story on this card. Right, 1993 Merlin sticker set, German exclusive, which means that the sticker set was only released in Germany, was printed and produced by Merlin. In the UK at 93, what did we have going on at the time?
The sticker set, which was very similar to the card set, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, we had the yellow border 93/94 debatable sort of yellow border-ish set, which were the weird shape, size stickers that PSA always struggle to encase, which royally pisses me off. Right, so these were standard size stickers, which makes things really, really nice. So let's talk about the card. Right, Mr. Perfect in his blue attire. He's given a very smug look. He's raising his hand in a sense of kind of saying, what are you looking at me for? But I think what I love about the card is just the choice of colors. So the German sets were all really, really bold, and they all had different colors, different backgrounds, yellows, oranges, reds, greens. They photoshopped different color backgrounds onto the wrestlers. And then they had these crazy different shaped square color borders that went round the card as well. So that's the description for people that are listening. For people that are actually watching, you can see it's a very bold card, lovely, bold, bright colors, lovely picture of Curt as well, which works really well against those colors. Now, how much do we think this particular sticker would cost? Bear in mind, you're probably going to have to get it shipped from Germany.
Probably next to nothing. That's how card collecting works, isn't it? It's like, to me, it's a £20 card sticker all day long, but you're going to tell me you found it for 50 pence or something.
Yeah, so I literally, if you go on to, I'll give a little insider tricks inside. If you've made it this long into the video, you deserve to have some insider tricks, insider trading. Right, www.ebay.de is the German version of eBay. If you use Google Chrome, you can just translate the page into English. If you reach out and contact a lot of the people that are actually selling cards and stickers on that, German version of eBay, they're quite happy to ship to the UK if you chuck them a few extra euros, for example. So what I tend to do, hence why I have so many German cards in my collection, is I speak to these people and I say, look, if I chuck an extra 2 or 3 euros to you, if I make an offer that's like over the price of the card or whatever, or if you increase the postage, whatever, I don't care, I'll pay it. I end up with bundles of German cards. So in reality, this card is probably only about 2 or 3 quid. Probably
Wow.
$4, $5, maybe. You know, obviously, you've got to get it posted. If you're in the States, it'll cost a bit more, but yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Easy to do,
Easy pickings.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So great card, great sticker. I think it's fantastic.
There is Yokozuna cards similar to this from this era, isn't it?
Mm.
And I believe I was looking at them because I believe it's like his rookie year and whatever. But I like the whole lot from there. Get like Damien Demento. Why would I want a Damien Demento card? Then I see what's around it, how well it stands out, and I'm like, actually, I'm not quite the crackhead I thought I was. I'm going to buy it. You know, it's like really do want them cards, isn't it?
Yeah,
So good.
They are presented, and not that someone's handing them to me, but the way that the cards are designed, the way that they are cut, the way that they are put together is, in some aspects, far superior to UK and US cards. They are genuinely, very, very well put together. And also,
Amazing.
what's actually really, really nice and really interesting is that the actual condition of a lot of these cards and stickers that come from Germany is near mint nearly every time, because a lot of the collectors in Germany really knew how to look after their cards and stickers, which is actually really, really helpful. So I've had quite a lot come back from Germany, which I'm in the process of sending off to PSA and things like that, and I'm expecting good things. So yeah.
That's
But I
what
think
we want.
we've said before we're going to be doing episodes on German stuff, so we've got loads to go through with German sets. There's the world is ridiculous for German cards, so we can go through that. That's another episode. Right. Another one from myself. So this is the SummerSlam 92 Gold Series, Mr. Perfect, but it's with him in his manager stroke color commentator attire. He's in his suit. So as you've already sort of gone through a little bit, Kev, just give give the world
piece of history.
Yeah, piece of history.
So,
what happened?
This is around the time when he was the executive consultant stroke manager of Ric Flair. So he wasn't active in the ring. You'd see him at ringside a lot of the time, being a nuisance, causing havoc, upsetting wrestlers. Then if he wasn't doing that, you'd catch him on an episode of Superstars of Vince McMahon, giving color commentary on wrestling matches. And I think he had the knowledge for wrestling. He had the brains for wrestling. And Vince McMahon seen his ability and thought, right, let's use him. You know, he's a massive asset to me, even if he's not in the ring. So you look at the bouts, was it Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man? Then Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect went to ringside, caused or tried to cause a massive upset. And it was better than the wrestling match to a degree. It's like, oh, what are these two going to do now? And it's like, then after that, it all went Pete Tong, it all went wrong, and perfect turn on Ric Flair, wasn't it? So the card itself, again, really easy to pick up, but it's more than wrestling, isn't it? Great pose.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I wanted to kind of bring this particular card in is we were literally just saying, a year before he was fit, or maybe 2 years before, physically in his prime. And then we start seeing these injuries crop up, and we start then seeing, his transition to be a color commentator and a manager and ringside. And, some of the greatest commentary work that was done was with him and Bobby Brain. So
yeah, great tag team.
Yeah, perfect. They
great match.
People say, the King and JR were really good,
and we were blessed to have all that. We had the best wrestlers that you're ever going to get, technically, character building, everything around it. that's why wrestling was so huge in the 90s. Just awesome talent everywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. And I've said to you before that I was always confused why he went from WF to WCW and kind of what happened there. But we've kind of covered that and got a bit of an information on as to why that happened. And for people like me, maybe people did already know. I didn't know why he started to stop wrestling, and I enjoyed watching him. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing him not taking part as such in the ring, and it was always a bit confusing to me. But we've cleared that up today. So okay, here's one that I've picked that I actually think it's not a particularly rare card, right? So it's a Prism, it's brand new, it's 2023. It's a parallel, so yeah, I don't know, teal, it's a greenish bluish color parallel. But what I want to actually sort of pin down is that they've chosen a picture to use here that isn't a particularly well used picture of Mr. Perfect. So he's in his black leotard, which he didn't wear that much. So it's one of the rarer attires that he did used to wear, but it's a picture I'm not too familiar with. I probably have seen it before, but it's not one that rings any bells. And people that are familiar with watching the show here and listening to us talk about cards is that I particularly like cards or stickers that use pictures that haven't been used much or at all before. This is one of them. I think it's a great pose, it's a great photo, it's a great picture, and the card itself is just very well presented.
Yeah, well, also with that, by the look of the card, I'd say that was one of his later career. So that could have been like his WWF return in 2002. And like looking at the facial expression, I get the feeling that it is from his later parts of his career.
He looks a little bit sort of slimmer down than he did in let's say a few years prior, maybe if it was sort of in the 90s, maybe. But it's just it's not a very well used picture, and I think it's a great picture. You know exactly who it is. At it, don't you?
Yeah. Do you know which card of this I would love? And I imagine there's one out there, and think of The Rock, that his card sold for $126,000. It's like the black one of one.
Yeah.
Like have WWE Prism included that in this 2023 set, because I think there's an Undertaker, a Bret Hart, a Hogan. Now, if you get a one of one Mr. Perfect, then I'd love to open that one up.
Yeah, that'd be a big card to open.
Yeah. So not only have you got like the unused ring expression, but you got the one of one card which matches it up, and it's like, hold on a minute here, stop playing with us. This is too good.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the ones we've picked.
Have we got one more to go? I think we have. 1 minute.
Let me have a little look at my little folder. Where's my thing?
We've got the 1982 All Stars.
How is that? Oh, how have they not come through? Hang on. Yeah, I don't know why that's not come through. Ah, there we go. Right, let me reshare. Oh, gosh, I know.
There we go.
Look at me being whatsoever. There we go. I've actually got two more. Sorry, I do apologize.
Oh, two more. Here we go. Yeah. So I think a lot of wrestling fans don't appreciate this card. PSA 3 you can pick up for $70, which is next to nothing. I think obviously a signed PSA 10 version of this is gold. It is the one to pick up, but
what even
you can find Curt Hennig cards for next to nothing from the 1982 All-Star set.
Does a PSA 10 82 All-Star exist for him? Signed?
I think there is one. I think there's one, yeah.
Wow. Which
obviously I'd love to own, but very young on this expression, isn't he? Early 20s.
Yeah. What year was he?
Yeah, he's born 1958.
So if this was 82.
Yeah. 23.
Wow.
Whoa, very young. That whole set, isn't it? It's magic.
Yeah, so I mean, we've spoken about the All Stars set a few times, haven't we? Yeah, 1982 Wrestling All Stars. It's pretty much everyone's rookie for the everyone that features in the set, it's their rookie for most
Yeah.
part. Yeah,
Just needed a bit of a shout out and mention that it is way too low.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, difficult to get in really, really good condition. You think now because of their age, we're looking at 40 plus years. So yeah, difficult to get in good condition. But to be honest, you're not, unless you're a really, really rich, big time collector, you're not going to pay for these in eight plus condition. It's just not going to happen.
No way.
Right. The actual real last one of the set. So
there you go. Yeah. It's just a Curt Hennig signed one. And from his time in WCW, where he joined the NWO. Very cool.
Yeah, great. Do you know what? This is not a 98, is it? The card?
Could be 98, yeah, sorry. It'd be like the standard set which someone's had signed, isn't it? I don't think the autograph's as good as the other one that we've seen.
No. Can we still, is there a little, he's missed that little flick.
Oh, yeah.
So flick would be around there somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah. Not as strong the autograph either, is it? But hey, I don't mind owning it. It's still quite a nice card to have, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's it looks, yeah, as you say, it looks like a base card. I don't have this set, so I'm not too familiar with it. But is this from the WCW/NWO set? Is it?
Yeah, I think it's Panini. No, top, sorry, 98.
Okay.
So quite easy to pick up, a standard card, really. But with it being signed, I thought I'd just give it that little shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, there is a small group, and I will say this, and I think I've mentioned it before. There's a small group of collectors who don't like having autographs on cards because they think it ruins the condition of cards. Same as Hasbro's. Some people don't signings on Hasbro's because they think it ruins the condition.
Yeah, it's life, isn't it? It's each their own. I mean,
personally, I think it adds something to it. I think it's to me, it's something I seek to do where I can. But in a situation like this, and looking at this particular card, you probably would have wanted a bit of a lighter pen, because
definitely, it's very dark, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, I mean, if you had it in a lighter pen, it would stand out a lot more. It'd be a lot more legible. However, because again, with Curt not signing that much, you're not going to argue.
No,
No, I don't want that Curt Hennig signed card. I'd prefer one in, we're not that kind of collector. Yes, please, I will take it.
I'm going to be picky.
But yeah, great card to have signed, and it's a great pose as well. I mean, it's just, we know it's fairly late in his career, but still a great card.
That's it. Be about 40 years of age in that one, so showing his age. Bless him.
And there we go. That is the end of it. That's all the cards we had. So there we go. Great cards.
Next video is I've got a box opening for the channel. Oof. Get it done. So wish us luck. We need some golds and signed and everything else. And
I need to do some openings. I do a little pack openings on the shorts on YouTube, but I've been messing around with trying to get a decent camera for doing openings on my own. I'm still playing. We'll get something done.
We'll get that.
Otherwise, that's it from us.
Another episode done.
Any last words from yourself here, Kev?
Hasta la vista, baby. That's it.
That was from that great 80s robot film, Johnny Five. There we go. Short Circuit.
RoboCop. Get it right.
Cool. There we go. That's another episode done. Hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe and share, and leave a comment if you've got any cards that you've got that are from Mr. Perfect and that you want to show them off. Pop a comment into the page. Submit Wrestling Cards. Come find us if you don't already follow the page on Facebook. We are more than happy to help people try and complete sets and show off your cards as well. So get in touch. Let us know how you feel. And thank you for watching. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Until next time, look after yourselves.
Thank you very much, everyone. Like, share, subscribe. That's all I can say. Thanks, Jack. Great host. Great episode. Goodbye for now.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye. And that about wraps it up for another edition of the Submit Wrestling Cards podcast with myself, Jack, and my good friend, Kev. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube, and keep an eye out for the next upcoming episodes. And now a quick word from our sponsor, Wrestling Cards Worldwide.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I run Wrestling Cards Worldwide, and I'm proud to be associated with the Submit Wrestling Cards podcast. We've got thousands of cards and stickers from all different eras on the website, and if you check out the link on the podcast, they'll give you an exclusive discount code for the website.
Thank you very much, and until next time, bye.